So this problem is really hard to explain, but the best way to do it is by explaining it by hand. So you're given that this is 20 here, you're given that this is 60, you're given that this is 50, and you know that these two lines are equal to one another. So I recreated this triangle on GSP, and I added this extra parallel line here, and then I extended these two lines here. However, not much else is different. So the first thing we do is we find out that these two bottom angles are equal to 80. So then you do the math and you find out, okay, this angle will be 20, this will be 30, as explained in my explanation. So then you can figure out what this triangle, all the angles in that triangle are, based on this one exactly. So you find 60, 50, that's 110. You know that all angles in a triangle will be equal to 180 degrees, so you know this is 70. Knowing that everything around a center point will be 360 degrees, you know that this angle is the same, so that'll be 70. This is 180. Subtract 70 from 180, you get 110. So then you can solve this as 50. And by extending these lines over in this area, we know that because, if we get a little bit closer, we know that if this angle, waiting for it to focus, if we know that this angle is 50, this angle will also be 50, okay? So the reason we added this parallel line here, okay, is because if we know that this angle is 50, then this angle will also be 50. And just using what we said, this side of this line will be a total of 180 degrees. Which means if you subtract that 50 from 180, you'll get that 130. And using that 130, you can say, okay, this side will be 50. And same with this reflection here. So you know that because this is 50 right here, and then you got that by adding that parallel line, you can do even more with it. Okay, and by doing that, you can tell that new other variables are going to be found too. So let's just take a step back and talk about what this whole 360 degrees is. So as I explained, this would be altogether 360 degrees total. So half of it would be 180 and 180. So that's what we really have to look for. It's around a center point that we have 180 degrees total for all the angles added and 180 degrees total for all those angles added. So if we go back, we see that we were given this 20, and then we found that this was 130 using this parallel line we got here. So if we have this 20 and we add 130, knowing that all triangle angles need to add 180, we know that this angle here will be 30. Okay. We also extended all these lines. So if that's 30, then this line over here, this angle over here is also 30. And then when we completed this triangle, we know that that's 40, meaning that's 40. So then you left with, okay, this we don't know the variable of, and this we don't know the variable of, or what the value of it is. So in order to solve that, we have to use what we know up here, that around one given line, we need 180 degrees. So if you look at this line, it's going to get kind of messy, but try and stay with me. If we look at this line right here, okay, this line right here, we know that this line needs to be 180 degrees, okay? And then if you look at this line right here, this one, we know that that has to be 180 degrees. So then you talk about what's shared. Okay, well this x angle is shared, and this angle is shared, and you know that these both are 40, and you say like, okay, this is the 40 of that one, and that's the 40. This is the 40 of this line. This is the 40 of that line. So these two 40s are the same. You're going to have a 30 in each of them. So you know that the only angle that these two share is this one. So you can say that this one will x will equal 30. And then the only thing left, when 40 and 30 are added, you get 70. And then you add another 30, because say we're using this line, you get 40, 40, y, and 30. 30, 30, 40, and y. Okay, so 30 plus 30 is 60. 60 plus 40 is 100. 100 subtracted from 180 is all you get is that 80 left. So then you know that this angle is also 80 right here. And if you're going to use the same thing that we just found out, that if we use this property up here that it'll be 180 degrees, you add 40, 30, 80, and then you get that angle you're looking for. That EDA, which will be 30 degrees.